Fashion of the 90s was the introduction of the minimalist styles. It was a sort of backlash that went against the 1980s excessive fashion. Following the fashion model less is more, women's fashion transformed from bulky shoulder pads into clean, smooth silhouettes, whereas men's fashion sported a more casual, personal style. When the comedy Clueless opened in theaters in 1995, the schoolgirl look by Brittany Murphy became popularized. The style's main feature was a baby doll dress, which was characterized by a shallow scoop neckline, a hemline that fell above the knees, edges trimmed with ruffles and puff sleeves. Also, thigh-high stockings would be paired with the dress, completing the look. The overall schoolgirl style presented teenage girls with an innocent girl-next-door appearance, unlike the power dressing of the 80s, where women appeared in a much more masculine style. In contrast, teenage boys began to sport styles like the grunge and the goth. The grunge look included several elements: a big-head hairstyle that looked disheveled and greasy, torn jeans, and a rock concert t-shirt underneath a plaid shirt. The name and influence of this particular look was influenced by alternative rock bands like Nirvana, who epitomized the style. The 1990s also involved somewhat of a goth movement. The modernized goths of the 20th century would have typically worn an all-black outfit in either Victorian or Georgian style, and they would have also had multiple piercings as well as tattoos. The entire subculture was influenced by mainly emotional hardcore punk music and vampire films like Interview with the Vampire. As a reverse of the 80s fashion of the 1990s went backwards, with teenage girls returning back to the romantic feminine styles. As for teenage boys, they began subcultures like the grunge and goth, inspired by music genres. With the arrival of the 20th century, the minimalistic styles began to fade away, and instead the boho style took over women's fashion, while young men began another subculture, hip-hop. The boho or bohemian style was first developed with the hippie styles in the late 60s. However, its widespread popularity started only in 2004. Supposedly first epitomized by Sienna Miller, a British Hollywood actress, the style included clothing pieces, like a long peasant-style skirt, which was often made of cotton with a floating appearance, an embroidered tunic, which was also typically made of cotton, with a hemline that fell around the hips, along with long loose sleeves, and Ugg boots, which was made of sheepskin fleece on the inside and sheep hide on the outer surface. Originating from the African-American populations of New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, the hip-hop style dominated the fashion industry, with influences by artists like Kanye West and P. Diddy. The look mainly revolved around clothing pieces like oversized hoodies, throwback jerseys, baggy jeans, and elaborate flashy jewelry, or more commonly known as bling, which can range from pendants to teeth grills, a mold worn over teeth that is usually made of precious metals or stones. Fashion of the 90s and 21st century were influenced by different music genres, creating subcultures from goth to bohemian. Beginning from the 1930s, it is observed that fashion changes mainly due to social, cultural, and economical sways of the public.